Welcome to MI Radio's Myanmar Today. I'm Melody, and here are today's reports. Myanmar calls for prevention against possible second wave of COVID-19. Traditional bamboo lantern market hopes market recovery in coming dry season. Commodities sees a sharp decline in Naypyidaw. Gold leaf market with low income expects to receive stimulus loan package from government. Before we get to the reports, let's take a look at the featured local news for today. Vice President U Henry Venthiyu, in his capacity as chairman of the National Disaster Management Committee, presided over a coordination meeting on tackling possible food shortages caused by severe flood and drought resulting from global climate changes. The meeting was held at the Ministry of Social Welfare, Relief and Resettlement. The Vice President talked about the effects of climate change resulting in natural disasters such as strong winds, floods, severe heat and drought, as well as landslides and soil erosions more frequently in many places. The Vice President added while deaths and damages to infrastructure are significant losses for the country, the long-term plans must be adopted to address the decline in agricultural products caused by flood and drought. The Vice President said that the COVID-19 pandemic had posed many challenges in the health and economic sectors. It has impacted negatively on the employment situation, and the pandemic has placed a heavy burden on the economy. He added that climate changes could worsen these situations and that proper plans should be adopted to avoid bad experiences resulting from a shortage of food. Myanmar needs to ensure food self-sufficiency and encourage export of agricultural produce by using agricultural techniques appropriate with climate change, giving technical assistance to farmers, creating local and foreign markets to promote the trade sector, and coordinating with relevant ministries to lessen the losses from natural disasters. The Steering Committee of Myanmar-UK Partnership for Education was held via video conferencing at the Ministry of Education in Naypyidaw on Tuesday. Union Minister for Education Dr. Myo Taeng-ji, Deputy Minister Uwe Morton, the Directors General, the Deputy Directors General's officials of Department for International Development and other organizations joined the meeting. Firstly, the Union Minister said Myanmar-UK Partnership Education was initiated in 2019 and received significant achievements in May of 2020. It has been 2 years and is expected for the positive results and futures, the Union Minister said, adding his appreciation on the Tree Towards Results in Education in English project as it conducts online courses on inclusive education for improving the English skills of teachers and instructors during the COVID-19 pandemic. The Union Minister said that his office is preparing for conducting PPTT, which is Pre-Service Primary Teacher Training Course, helping in 5 prioritized sectors under AERS, Assessment and Education Reform Support, and assisting in conducting researchers under EELC, Evidence Evaluation Learning Component. The Myanmar Radio and Television and the Search for Common Ground is conducting a training course for production of a TV series to present traditional culture and beauty of ethnic nationalities. The opening ceremony of the course was held at MRTV in Naypyidaw on Tuesday morning. At the ceremony, Director General U Ye-nine said that MRTV is broadcasting 17 national ethnic languages on Myanmar radio and 11 national ethnic languages on Myanmar television to promote a broader understanding of the diversities of ethnic people and to support peace building and unity. He also explained that in order to support those objectives, the training course is aimed for production of ethnic traditional cultures and beauties. The WHO reported over 1.8 million new COVID-19 cases and 39,000 new deaths for the week at the end of the 16th of August. The Southeast Asian region continues to report on an increase in cases and is currently the second most affected region in the world. The region has seen a steady increase by 9% over the past 7 days compared to the previous week. India continues to report on the majority of cases. Myanmar also found out the cases continually from the returnees in this week. Let's have a report about the COVID-19.
The various sectors, including business and social ones from many countries around the world, have suffered a lot when the COVID-19 breakouts. The WHO reported over 1.8 million new COVID-19 cases and 39,000 new deaths for the week ending on the 16th of August. The Southeast Asian region continues to report on an increase in cases and is currently the second most affected region in the world. The region has seen a steady increase by 9% over the past 7 days compared to the previous week. India continues to report on the majority of the cases. Myanmar has also found out the cases continually from the returnees in this week. About those cases, Dr. Sidulin, the specialist from Young Workers Hospital, spoke to MI Radio that people became mindful of the infections as soon as the newly locally transmitted cases found out after a month, he said.
In this week, the number of the COVID-19 cases is increasing day by day. Even the numbers of the cases increases. We have to prepare not to increase the number of the positive cases and death cases. That's why our Ministry of Health and Sports also announced the daily reports about the COVID-19 cases, not only from the locals, but also from the worldwide about the second wave. And as we know, it's been a month that we haven't seen a locally transmitted case within a month. In my opinion, wearing a mask has to be added into our daily tasks until the COVID-19 vaccine is officially announced.
According to the data from the Ministry of Health and Sports, there are a total of 50 COVID-19 positive patients and 74 people recovered and were discharged from the hospital in the month of July. From 1st to 15 August, there are a total of 21 COVID-19 positive cases and 28 recovered people. All those positive patients are from the returnees, and only one new locally transmitted patient was found within a month. With the help of the regional government and the Ministry of Health and Sports, all the returnees are undergoing medical treatments at the respective hospitals. A total of 65,000 Myanmar nationals have arrived back home through the routes not only from the relief flight but also from the border gates. Myanmar government has prepared enough facility quarantine centers and medical supplies, as well as health workers to be provided in these areas. Ulade is Region Ludo representative from Myanmar Township of Yangon region, and he spoke to MI Radio about the possible second wave infection, how they have prepared for in the country.
The most important thing is to follow the rules announced by the Ministry of Health and Sports. We have to avoid crowded places and, if necessary, we have to wear masks and wash our hands frequently. Social distancing is also required for everyone. I think everyone should prepare for the possible second wave as it could have a large impact on everyone. The problem is we don't actually know who we have contact with or when. If that happens, many people will be affected from it. We need to be cautious at every second. Some people think the pandemic is over in the country, so they don't think that the second wave could come in the future.
During this COVID-19 period, State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi continually urged the people to wear the mask and to be aware of the possible second wave infection by comparing to the other countries. Union Minister Dr. Naypyidaw also urged the public to care about the infections even though the government has relaxed some restrictions to minimize the spread of the COVID-19 as clusters of the cases. Ma, the resident from North Oklahoma Township of Yangon, spoke to MI Radio about her worries for the infections. She said,
People who wear masks are common less than the previous months, And because of the lack of control, I'm worried that we might be infected from the customers. For me, I always wash my hands and wear the masks, as I have to keep in touch with the customers. And I also want everyone to follow the rules so that we will be safe from this pandemic. And most of the cases are from the returnees. I think the government should take action effectively concerning those returnees.
Around the world, 215 countries are suffering from the deadly coronavirus that has afflicted over 22 million people, including 784,000 fatalities and 15 million recoveries, according to the data from the Worldometer Coronavirus Resource Center until 8 a.m. on 19th of August. In Myanmar, the number of the COVID-19 cases reaches 379 with 6 deaths and 331 recoveries, according to the announcement by the Ministry of Health and Sports until 8 a.m. on 19th of August.
That's the report on Myanmar calls for prevention against possible second wave of COVID-19. Traditional handmade objects have to rely on 12 seasonal festivals and market demand. Among the handicrafts, those who are making traditional bamboo lanterns are hoping a speedy market recovery. Out of the 12 traditional seasonal festivals of Myanmar, the Dinjo event with a lighting festival is a significant milestone, and important symbols are paper lanterns as well. Paper lanterns are regularly made in Wazo, that means August. But this year, there are no orders yet, and the market situation for handicraft have come to an almost stop. Zueman and Biatain reports.
Traditional handmade objects have to rely on 12 seasonal festivals and market demand. Among the handicrafts, those who are making traditional bamboo lanterns are hoping a speedy market recovery. Out of the 12 traditional seasonal festivals of Myanmar, the Dinjo event with a lighting festival is a significant milestone, and important symbols are paper lanterns as well. Paper lanterns are regularly made in Wazo, that means August, but this year there are no orders yet, and the market situation for handicrafts have come to an almost stop. Since childhood, traditional bamboo lanterns have been made, but the current moment of 2020 is the worst for those who are doing for a living by making traditional bamboo lanterns. It was by Upule, a maker of traditional bamboo lanterns.
Ayate Korabo, Ayate Aro, Malajado, the Udayama Malado, Alo City Mato, Ocean Waro, Sabi Lokaina Babayo.
The orders haven't come yet, but City Mart and Ocean shopping centers are in preparation of placing orders. Last year, our business started when the Lent set in. We had started touching raw materials. This year, it depends on orders. If we received the advance payment, we expect to start after buying raw materials. The raw materials will increase in price, but the price for paper lanterns can't be raised much. It will be okay if it's like 1,100 paper lanterns. The paper lanterns from China enter our country through borders. We're going on working with the paper lanterns because of our hobby. Now we're still facing the slow outbreak of COVID-19. We are making the lanterns despite worry for COVID-19. We're making larger lanterns at the time when COVID-19 was found in March. We had to stop our business in April. From the Soundai, we have been making the lanterns and have stopped in April. I wish the COVID-19 spread will be slower and the business will return to recovery.
Pagaya in Myanmar Township of Yangon region and its environs are packed with the lantern makers and those placing orders this time every year. The market situation is decreasing a little year after year. They earn a living by doing handicraft activities for festivals, events, and ceremonies in the non-Dinjo period. The COVID-19 outbreak is timed to coincide with the period of the festivals. Since then, the handicraft works have to come a stop, and numerous difficulties still remain. Dosan Sanu is the owner of Paugam Myanmar Handicraft Shop, and she spoke to MI Radio. During this year, Myanmar handicraft and paper lantern are not going well. Although now is the rainy season, work can start with a few orders. The paper lantern is the same matter as well. Orders are coming this time in the past, but now they have not come yet. Because of the COVID-19, we haven't received any orders so far. Restrictions have been imposed not to carry out festivities and hold social events during the outbreak of COVID-19. Now the spread of the virus has slowed down and the people hope for the festivities and events. Those wishing to hold almsgiving ceremonies are hoping almsgiving ceremonies. The restrictions on mass gathering of the government are still in effect. Now is the season of offering wazu robes to members of Sangha. Myanmar people are fond of holding almsgiving ceremonies. When bamboo lanterns are made, jatang and waya bamboos have to be used as raw materials. Last year, the price of a bundle of bamboo was 2,500 Jas to 3,500 Jas. The price of the one sheet of beautiful paper was 130 Jas to 250 Jas. Lantern makers are worried about the possible rise of price for other related materials. They are hoping their market recovery overcoming such difficulties.
That's the report on traditional bamboo lantern market hopes market recovery in coming dry season. As the whole world is affected by the outbreak of COVID-19, one of the most important and basic goods such as commodities is also hit by the impacts of COVID-19 as well. Willinson will tell us how the basic commodity market in Naypyidaw has been hit by the impacts of COVID-19.
Basic commodities are some of the most important goods which the people depend on for a living. And the commodities market is also greatly important to the public as the people have to buy food for daily. Therefore, the stability of the market is very much essential for ordinary people. But as the people are financially affected by the outbreak of COVID-19, the basic commodities are also affected as well in Naypyidaw. Myanmar market in Naypyidaw is one of the largest markets in Naypyidaw and it is also one of the most crowded ones in Naypyidaw. According to the report by some of the shopkeepers here in this market, as COVID-19 is affecting everyone, they are also affected a lot by the outbreak of COVID-19. Dr. Latwe is one of the shopkeepers at Myanmar market who is selling basic commodities such as coconut, banana, and other stuff which are mostly used in religious related activities, and she also spoke to MI Radio on the current situation of her sale.
Selling coconut and banana used to be a good business in the past, but now some of the products such as coconut and banana price increased, maybe due to the weather condition, and it has become quite hard to get as many as we want to get. On the other hand, we also see the decline of the customers who buy these products. There are some products which see an increase in the price because the flow of the goods does not run yet at the full scale, but there is also some products which see the decline of the products as well.
For products such as coconut and banana, these products are transported from coastal areas such as Yauri region and other places, and it also comes from Yangon as well. Most of the people who buy coconut and bananas are the people who want to perform their religious activity, and these coconut and banana are also used in construction dedication ceremony as well. Upie Phujo is one of the shopkeepers at Myanmar market and he also spoke to MI Radio.
COVID-19 is
As we are still in the midst of COVID-19, the sale of the goods is not that good compared to the previous time when things were normal. We did not come across to the point where we needed to close down the business, but it is just that the sale is not performing at all. Onion, which is the main product here in my shop, is also not going well, as the price also comes down at this time. In my opinion, the main reason of onion price decrease is mostly due to the outbreak of COVID-19, because India and Bangladesh are the two nations which buy onion from Myanmar the most, and due to irregular goods flow between Myanmar, these two nations which buy onion the most from Myanmar, the onion remains in Myanmar more than the usual amount. So it makes onion available in a big number, which is why the price of onion is basically down at this time.
According to the report by some of the shopkeepers here in this market, most of the agricultural products sold here are directly transported from the farms as they have their own farms. Myanmar, who is selling green vegetable in this market, also spoke to MI Radio.
The business is not doing well here due to the COVID-19, and the sale is quite down these days. It is hard to run business, especially when you run green vegetable shops like me. These green vegetables cannot be kept for long, so the sale is down these days. The goods I cannot sell anymore, just left to be thrown away. Before, I used to send remaining goods to the other places, such as restaurants. Now the demand is down everywhere, whether from the restaurants or the customers.
That's the report on commodities sees a sharp decline in Naypyidaw. Most of the businesses suffered difficulties in the wake of COVID-19. Among them, gold foil making is one of the most destructive businesses. As government's statement of limiting the public gathering, the pagodas, all the religious occasions and festivals have to be prohibited since early April as part of government's cautious measures against the potential risk of COVID-19's issues. So the gold leaf market is suffering the economic impact of the global pandemic.
In Myanmar, glittering pagodas are the symbol of Theravada Buddhism, the religion the majority of the people believe in. The gold leaf has traditionally been most popular and most common in use of it as glittering material for decoration of the glittering pagodas. The processes of making gold leaf include manual skills. Myanmar people are always boasting for gold leaf making, which is a time-honored tradition handicraft in Myanmar. Not only that, gold leaf making business is one of the tourist attractions because there are a lot of international tourists and businesses who are interested in and learning this gold foil making. The gold leaf market is packed, especially in Mandalay, Myanmar's second largest city. Most of the businesses suffer difficulties in the wake of COVID-19. Among them, gold foil making is one of the most destructive businesses. As government statements of limiting the public gathering, the pagodas, all the religious occasions and festivals have to be prohibited since early April as part of the government's cautious measures against the potential risk of COVID-19 issues. So the gold leaf market is suffering the economic impact of global pandemic. Gowili is a gold leaf maker from Mandalay. He told MI Radio about the current situation faced by the gold makers.
Normally we can earn around 20,000 jugs to 30,000 jugs daily. There is no work every day currently, and if there are some orders to work, we can only earn about 7,000 or 8,000 jugs. And if normally we can earn around 20,000 to 30,000 jugs daily, there is no work every day currently. And if there are some orders to work, we can only earn about 7,000 jugs or 8,000 jugs. And not all the staff can work here. We have to work with a small number of people. In my shops, there are 13 workers normally, but now we have to divide them as separated groups and calling them alternatively. The employment opportunities for workers are losing as we have to avoid gathering of people. Still, the pagodas are closed and we don't know when they open.
About 100 gold leaf production businesses have stopped its operation as they don't have any proper income for the investment. With regard to this, the daily workers who are employed in these businesses also lost their job. So the gold leaf businesses are hoping to get stimulus loan package by the government. Uso Myanmar, the owner of Aungtakong Gold Leaf business, said.
The investment for gold leaf making has some amount, and we can only withstand over 2 months well with this situation, but not for longer. In estimate, we should have about just 1.7 million are needed to run this business for the 2 months. But it has already been for 5 months, and still we don't know when exactly the pagodas will reopen. Even if the pagodas reopen, it is not sure that gold leaf will be good in sale. Gold file making is one of the traditional crafts for Myanmar. If possible, the government should think to support the gold file making business for stimulus loan package. Only then, the businesses of gold file making can keep on operating, and the workers in this field also won't lose their job opportunity. This business is also crossing foreign exchanges for the country because there are a lot of international tourists and businessmen who are interested in learning this gold file making.
That's the report on gold leaf market, where low income expects to receive stimulus loan package from government. Now to international news. The United States Department of Transportation on Tuesday issued an order allowing the 4 Chinese airlines currently performing scheduled passenger services to the United States to increase their services to 8 weekly round-trip flights. United and Delta are now eligible to double their flights to China from twice a week to 4 times a week, the department wrote. According to China's aviation regulator, 19 Chinese and 74 foreign airlines operated 210 weekly return frequencies on 187 regular international passenger routes to and from China. As of August 12, China has regular passenger services with 50 countries. Mali's President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta and Prime Minister Boubou Ciss have been arrested by mutinying soldiers in the capital Bamako on Tuesday. The reason behind the mutiny and how many soldiers are participating are unclear. Israel's intelligence minister on Tuesday said he knew of no change to a policy opposing U.S. sales of advanced weaponry to Arab states that could diminish Israel's military superiority, after a report said the United Arab Emirates could clinch such deals. The remarks by Minister Eli Cohen followed a report in Israel's newspaper that Washington planned a giant sale of F-35 jets and drones to the UAE after the Gulf country moved to normalize ties with Israel last week. The United States Embassy in Jerusalem had no immediate comment on the report. Under understandings dating back decades, Washington has refrained from Middle East arms sales that may blunt Israel's qualitative military edge. The United States guarantees that Israel receives more advanced American weapons than Arab states get, giving it what is labeled a qualitative military edge over its neighbors. One example is the F-35 jet made by Lockheed Martin company that Israel has used in combat, but the UAE is currently unable to purchase. Cohen, an observer in Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's security cabinet, said the decision-making forum had held no discussion on any changes to QME policy, and that Israel had not agreed to any changes by the United States. He declined to be drawn on the UAE, which the Trump administration has said could clinch on Pacific new U.S. arms sales after Thursday's normalization announcement. That's all with the news and reports on Myanmar Today. Hope everyone is staying safe.